All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
First, a big thank you to everyone. Folks, we just crushed it in one of these recent surveys. I say we because it's all of us. It was a survey of folks out there. I'm going to get to it in a minute about your favorite news sources, where you get your news from. It was a survey of 2024 voters. It was taken in March for all the Bongino haters who were too stupid to read the poll. I'm sorry, you're a moron. I can't really help you. It's a function of really bad genetics and a poor upbringing. Maybe try some vitamin B, vitamin C, fix your nutritional problems. I'm really sorry. The genetics I can't help you with. However, I'll show you that. Also, very important, another disgusting, filthy, far left-driven media hit job on Cash for, what is this version? Guy's finally back. He was gone for like 4 months. So Guy's back. It's like he did one of these tournaments he does for his this game he plays quite well. He finished number 2, which is quite impressive, actually. So Guy's pretty talented. But what is this? Like hit piece number 20, 25 on Cash. They're 0 for 25, which is amazing. Remember, didn't they tell us he's supposed to be fired? Is this day like 14 or 30 that he was supposed to have been fired? It's just funny how that continues to not work out. For all the people who keep telling it, it's weird. But they told you they have sources, guys. They have sources. They're always anonymous, of course, because they don't have the moose nuts to actually go on the record. So I will tell you why they're doing it, and I will immediately debunk it myself with just common sense. Wait till I tell you this. You're going to say, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, Justin, right? You've been in an organization here that's hierarchical, right? So if you couldn't get a hold of, say something was happening with the company and you couldn't get a hold of me, who would you contact next? Okay, Paula or Jim. Look at, he's amazing. He's like, it's not even a trick question because that's how it works. So wouldn't you say, like, if they magically could never find Cash because of these fantastic stories, who do you think they would call? The deputy director. And who was that? It was, yeah, weird. I never got that call. Strange. The whole first year of the Trump administration. So weird. You can never find it. So weird. Oh, folks, I missed you over the weekend. So let's get right to it. Hey, many Americans try those weight loss shots, but they got a lot of side effects and who knows over time, right? So I looked into injections for some of these. Some of my friends ask me about them. They know I'm a big health hacker. And I tell them, listen, try lean instead from Brickhouse Nutrition. I tried it. I lost 30 pounds. You can go look at some of my old Rumble videos. I was getting up there. I was like 235, wasn't enough. So check it out. Lean. The best part, there's no needles, no prescriptions. I lost weight. You can too. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use code Dan for 20% off. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Results vary, not FDA approved. Check out Lean. It works. LEAN. Today's show also brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Listen, this last year was busy. My eyes are open to a lot of things. There's one thing that many people found understandably disturbing. It was a lot of this infighting going on within our movement. We all agree on some basic core tenets, right? Freedom of speech, the right to life, the Second Amendment, and supporting our military and first responder heroes. Well, there's one company that's been fighting with us for a really long time. I love them. I have the service on my phone. It is absolutely spectacular. How to use it this week down in South Florida, again, where the service was terrible outside of Patriot Mobile. They rescued me again. Patriot Mobile loves this country. They work on all 3 major networks. In fact, you can be on multiple networks on the same phone. They will save you in bad service areas. More importantly, their customers enjoy priority service with the same or better quality as their old providers. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes switching fast and easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan and get a free month of service with the offer code Dan. Sign up today. Their customer service is amazing. The mobile service is absolutely fantastic, and they love America, and we got to support companies in the parallel economy. Again, keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan. Free month of service with the offer code Dan. They've been fighting for us for a long time. Make the switch to Patriot Mobile today. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan. patriotmobile.com/Dan. All right, fellas, let's go. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not SPS, because self-praise sucks. It does. However, I'm just really proud that we've been able to produce a product that over the last decade of being on the air has really resonated with you. There was a poll taken in March, yes, for the Bongino haters out there. Again, I can't help you with your poor genetics, and I can't help you with your neuronal deficiency and your just, natural stupidity. However, maybe, have some omega-3 fatty acids and you'll be able to read the actual poll. It was taken in March. So it was a poll by this news lab place about online platforms and influencers overtaking television and newspapers as primary news sources. So they went back and in March, they polled people who voted in 2024, where do you get your news? And we did quite well. I think it was like 9 and 1 and then 11 with the non-weighted. So there we are. You have Rogan at the top, Hannity, Gutfeld, Ilhan, Mark Levin, and then there you go, the Dan Bongino Show. So I'm quite proud of that. And it relates to a larger question about media fragmentation. There's an interesting piece at the Hollywood Reporter, of all places, this morning about just this. Folks, I'm telling you, going forward, you are going to have to, us included, we are no different. We deserve no special dispensation from you. If you're a content creator, TikTok, Snapchat, Rumble, YouTube, whatever it is, Kick, any of these platforms, if you are a content creator, there are no intellectual days off where you can just dial it in. What I'm trying to get at is there are too many choices in this fragmented media market now. There's no turning on the TV and there's 3 networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. People have tens of thousands of choices to go to for news. Do not, under any circumstances, ever take you, the audience, for granted, ever. You do it, you will die. Your show, I don't mean physically die. Your show will die. This Hollywood Reporter piece explains it. How people just aren't getting their news and they're just not all tuned into the same thing anymore. It's a Rick Porter piece, the last time everyone watched the same thing. Goes back to 2014 and how the whole market's fragmented now. You got Netflix, Amazon Prime, Peacock, Paramount. You got Samsung Plus TV. Thing comes up on my TV every time. You've got Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Tim Pool. You've got hundreds and hundreds of options, and people's podcast shelf, the amount of material they consume in a day on that shelf, that figurative bookshelf, is limited. So I just want you to know that I deeply appreciate it. You matter to me. I will never, ever dial in a show. We put in a ton of work. I sent the guys stuff over the weekend. Justin's like, why are you sending me stuff on a Sunday night? The answer is because you guys matter. Getting back to what I opened up the show with, and the most important story of the day, I think, for the purposes of me getting this out to you, is this hit piece on Kash Patel yet again. Folks, this is really getting sick at this point. I'm going to tell you why. Put up the piece, if you would, at The Atlantic. This is just a disgusting piece. I think Kash is filing a lawsuit today, and I applaud him for doing it. The absolutely hapless Atlantic and the disgusting Sarah Fitzpatrick, who I can't believe is even, is even attempting to stand by this piece. The FBI director is MIA. He has alarmed colleagues. That's interesting. No one's reached out to me, guys. Colleagues. Not a single person. With episodes of excessive drinking and unexplained absences, and we can't find them. We can't find them. Kash, that's insane. No one knows where he is. He's hiding somewhere, folks. Now that's pretty easy to debunk because most of Kash's schedule is an official schedule. And you can just look at it and see where he is most of the time and what he's doing. When he's out traveling, he was on a West Coast swing last week. He's on Twitter posting, or his team is saying, hey, here we are in San Diego and other places doing this and that. He does a lot of travel because I don't know if this is news to many of the dumb shit liberal media morons out there. However, the FBI is a global organization. So just because it's headquartered in Washington, D.C., not everything happens in D.C. Matter of fact, a small portion of the FBI's work happens in D.C., so he travels a lot. Now, it's really strange. I was there for the first year of the Trump administration, and I didn't get one single phone call. You mean, oh, you're just covering for Kash. No, I'm not. I love Kash. He's a friend, but I'm not stupid. I want an FBI where the director works. If the director was terrible, I would tell you. He's actually incredible and has racked up a series of W's we've never seen. And that's why you see these liberal media hit pieces that are total fabrications. I was there. practically every day with him in the office. He gets in at about 6 to 6:30. He goes down to the gym. There's a gym in that decrepit old Hoover building in the basement. Gym's actually not bad. He works out in the gym. You want to know where to find him? You walk downstairs. Hey, Cash, it's not hard. Just ask people who work out in the morning. Have you seen Cash? They're going to say, yeah, he's down in the gym. He's unexplained. He's downstairs. You just go in the elevator. You go to the basement level. There's a little basketball court, and there's a nice gym right behind it. The cardio room is upstairs. And there's a little studio thing, too. You can just go down there and find him, Sarah, every day. And then it's even weirder. Like, the workday ends at 5 o'clock, but not for him because he stays late in the office. He stays till about 7. So Cash stays till about 7 o'clock. So when you want to find him, there's a crazier place to go. And it's the 7th floor office of the director that says Director Cash Patel. You'll find him right there behind the door. It's so freaking weird, man. Folks, the story is bullshit. Now, why are they going after Cash Patel? They're for the same reason they went after Pete, for the same reason they're now going after Bobby Kennedy. They are extremely effective in their jobs. Extremely effective in their jobs. Cash has been able to highlight what an FBI will do when you refocus it and you reform it. It's created a foil effect for the media. They had Joe Biden and Barack Obama's FBI, which did nothing but target political opponents. They had diminished their role in violent crime. It was a leadership problem. There's no doubt about it. Now you get new leaders in charge. You have the safest United States in U.S. history. You had that massive arrest of that Iranian trying to get on a plane, allegedly involved in weapons trafficking. You had first Antifa prosecutions in the United States. You have all these public corruption cases between Bolton to Comey to James and all these other cases. You have that corrupt squad in Washington, D.C. we had disbanded. You had a bunch of people get let loose who just had no business being in the FBI. They don't want that. They can't have this foil. So they have to take away a chit from Donald Trump, who put these people in charge and got results no other president could get. That's it. It's the same reason they're going after Pete and everyone else. They have to slowly pick apart, chip the mortar out of the brick until the whole house collapses. And they're waiting for useful idiots to play along with them. The beautiful thing is this Sarah Fitzpatrick Zero was roundly mocked on Twitter this weekend because other news organizations passed on this story because it was so stupid. We can't find him. As Justin said before, it's so weird I never got the call. Man, we can't find the boss, man. I got news for you. I had no problem finding him ever. Ever. Like at no point did I call him where he either didn't answer or call back within 5 minutes. That never happened. Here's why they hate him. And they absolutely cannot let this go. Here's Cash Patel on with Maria Bartiromo this weekend talking about documented, put them on a freaking spreadsheet, W's on the board thanks to the president's leadership and letting us do our jobs. These are documented W's that no one's been able to produce that they're just pissed off about, so they got to make sure this guy goes away. Check this out.
This FBI has the most prolific year in crime reduction in the United States history. A 20% reduction in the homicide rate, a 20-point drop in opioid overdose deaths. We have found and identified 6,300 child victims. 6,300 kids get to go home to their kids. That's a 30% increase. Seizing enough fentanyl to kill 180 million Americans. That's a 31% increase. Our deal with China, where we stopped the flow of fentanyl precursors, a historic engagement thanks to President Trump in Busan. And our work continues. We've captured 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, to include rapists, murderers, terrorists, and narco traffickers. That's twice as many as Joe Biden did in 4 years. President Trump and this FBI got done in 14 months. So if I'm not doing my job, if I'm not working, then how is it that the FBI delivered the safest America under President Trump's leadership in the history of our country? And so, you know what? They can beat their drums and stand next to toxic waste all they want, but that doesn't make it toxic waste.
Folks, I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm honored you're here. You know, we're only a few minutes into the show. It's 50,000 people here. We got a whole stadium full of people. I love you guys so much. I mean it. You've been such a gift to me. I can't say this enough. If you're tired of it, oh, Dan, enough. Fine. You're not tired. I don't care. I'm going to keep telling you. But the life you all have offered me, and forget about the financial stuff. I get my own investments and things like that. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. It's not that. The life you all have given me, it's a gift. It is. It is a gift, and I will never take you guys for granted. But I promise you, me bullshitting you, if I were to tell you, like, hey, those stories are all BS, and guys tomorrow come out like on the record, you'd be like, wow, you lied to me. I'm telling you the truth. This guy is one of the best leaders I've ever worked with. He is. He doesn't accept bullshit. Listen, like me, sometimes he gets a little hot-tempered when he gets a stupid answer. But thankfully, we've got such a great team in place right now at the top that there's not a lot of stupid answers anymore. There were early on. I'm sorry. I mean, I asked the guy one time why we weren't back in the violent crime business. The FBI, like, why are we minimizing our footprint in violent crime? And one guy told me, wait, get ready for this. I ever tell you guys this? One of the answers one of these guys gave me was, well, it's really risky. I said, did you just say that in public, like out loud? It's risky? Now, that was not the feeling of the rank and file agents who wanted to go out and kick indoors and arrest bad guys, but someone actually said that. I said, don't ever say that again. You know what's risky? Violent criminals in people's neighborhoods killing, burglarizing, and raping their kids. And that's risky. I'm getting tired of this, man, and you should be too. That's a bullshit piece. That woman should be embarrassed. And let me tell you something, man. Bring your sources. Let's hear them, because you're not going to find them. There was one story in there. I hesitate to even repeat it to you because it was so dumb. They needed like breaching tools because they couldn't get him up. Because he was sleeping? You don't think I'd get a call about that? They busted his door down with a Halligan tool, whatever. And I was like, you believe that? Sure. Okay. All right, moving on. They just don't want it. They don't want us to reform the place. They don't want it. That's why they got to get these people out of there. And it's not going to happen. Sorry. So I saw this video this week. And you know what? We have a choice coming up in the midterms. Put up that Carville tweet. I told you to put up that Morse thing I just put up there. Folks, you have a choice coming up in the midterms. Pay very close attention to this tweet, because if this doesn't open your eyeballs like Clockwork Orange style, nothing's gonna. If you're thinking about checking out, tapping out, I'm not voting, I don't know, nothing's happening, I'm done, and everything you think isn't happening is gonna start happening even more, and then you're gonna have to move on to something else that you say is the nothing that's happening when it starts happening. I'm telling you, you got a choice coming up. If you want to get kicked square in the nuts in November and see your country fall apart and fall apart quickly, then either sit it out or vote for Democrats in November, because they are going to destroy this place fast. I put this on the show just before I came on the air. Morse report. You know James Carville, the Democrat strategist? He's very well connected. He is already laying out the Democrat agenda if they take back the House and Senate. Get a load of this. Grant statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico so the Democrats can lock in 4 extra seats in the Senate. That's it. We're done. You'll never get a vote passed again, ever. 0 chance. Your chances are 0, okay? Pack the Supreme Court from 9 justices to 13, adding 4 left-wing justices to the court. So when you take it to court and sue to make sure that this is compliant with the Constitution, left-wing lawyers who hate the Constitution are going to make sure they rule against you, so you have no avenue there. So we lose the legislative branch because of the Senate, and we lose the judicial branch too because they pack the Supreme Court. And they appoint a bunch of new left-wing judges too. They want to reopen the U.S.-Mexico border and grant mass amnesty to every alien currently inside of the United States. That's worked out great for Biden and others. That's exactly what we need. Crime rate drops to the lowest in U.S. history. Illegal migrants admitted to the country are back to 0 thanks to Donald Trump's amazing leadership and the balls to do something. They want to reverse the entire thing. By the way, Carville's not some fringe guy. This guy is well connected in the Democrat Party. And the irony is, at one point, he was considered a moderate Democrat. It ends with his advice to Democrat politicians: don't run on it, don't talk about it, just do it. Folks, I'm warning you. What is it, April? What's the date? April 20th or something? I don't know. I look at my phone. What is it? Yeah, okay. April 20th. It's April 20th. A lot can happen between now and November. I'm telling you right now, we lose. We are effed. And I'm trying to say the word less. Effed. Capital Effed. There is no sitting on the sidelines. There's no giving up. There's no quitting. This is a binary. You have a choice. It's not a perfect choice. Nothing is, but it's a choice. So I saw this video on Friday. I sent it over. I said, guys, we got to talk about this. I've heard of this guy. I don't know him well, but I don't like to pretend I don't. You know, people say, oh, I don't know that guy, and they know him, just kind of like a stupid flex. I've seen this guy around on some debates. I think he was on Piers. He's obviously a left-wing commentator. I have no personal animus towards this cat at all, but it's got an interesting premise here. His name is Kyle Kulinski. And Kyle Kulinski's on a video broadcast here, and he's talking about, and I this is one of the few times I may actually agree with a left-wing commentator. He's like, I think it's time for like a test, right? We should do like some national divorce where left-wing states do their left-wing thing and right-wing states do their right-wing thing. And everybody like moves to one of those states. Of course, we can't force anyone to what I want to, but it would be a great test. I encourage the liberals to go and move to New York, move out of Florida, move out of Texas. You good with that, Justin? You live in Florida. Justin's like, yeah, move out. Everyone move out. I agree with Kyle. I'm not messing with you. I'm not interested in force. That's a left-wing thing. I'm just telling you, I think you should pick up and leave this dystopian Florida. It's so horrible, right? Just terrible. I don't know, the sun, low taxes, so terrible. Everybody's moving here. I think you should leave Texas too. Even leave purple states like, Colorado, that's trending blue. And you should all move to New York and California. I agree with him. So I'm going to play this clip and I'm going to debunk something he says at the end because it's amazing. Like there already is a real world test going on. I put it on the show last week, that Wall Street Journal article. But how everyone's moving to Florida and job growth in Florida and Texas, and everybody's leaving blue states. So there's already a test going on. You think this guy would know that? But Kyle, I'm going to tell you something. I actually agree with you. It is time for a national divorce. Check this out.
Probably have a national divorce, right? We should probably have a national divorce. There should be the red states of America and the blue states of America, and we can run that experiment. We'll come check back in 100 years and see what's going on. And what everybody will find is what we already know, which is the blue states would have universal health care and free college and a living wage. They'd have much higher standard of living. Their GDP would be much higher. Their social freedom index would be through the roof. They'd be much more democratic. They'd be much more peaceful and stable of a system. And then the red states would be a fucking catastrophe. Okay? This is why, anytime, do a little exercise. Come up with some sort of social metric, right? And then see who does better on that, red states or blue states. And it's a fun game because you ain't going to find the red states leading in shit. Okay, I mean, like quite literally. Anything you can come up with, they're failing. I mean, even like the blue states are massive net tax payers to the federal government. The red states are net tax receivers. And these are the people who whine and cry and bitch and moan and say, I don't want no parasites, no moochers taking my fucking tax money, man. And it's like, well, the blue states are subsidizing all your bitch asses.
Okay, so much he said there is actually absurd and ridiculous. I love the part where he goes, I think we should conduct a real-world experiment. We're already conducting one. It's called the real world. People are leaving your states. I don't understand if anything you said had any kind of barometer in truth. There wouldn't be. Look at this. This is an Eric Daughtry tweet. Democrats are staring down an electoral college problem because they're going to lose seats in the census. What does the census measure? People. Why would red states be getting Florida, Texas, Idaho, and Utah more congressional seats while California, New York, Illinois, and Rhode Island blue states are losing them? Because it's based on the census, which counts people, and people are leaving. So I love what he goes, we should conduct a real-world experiment, as if there isn't a real-world experiment going on right now where people are leaving. If anything he said was true, and this measure of social happiness he talks about, what the hell is that, was so accurate. Kyle, why are people, by the way, I don't disagree with you. It's not personal. I want folks in the chat, if you live in Florida and Texas, do you agree with Kyle? Liberals, please leave. Go to New York and California. We don't want you. Folks in the chat, yes, they should leave. No, they should stay. Leave. We're with you. You've got a communist mayor in New York City. You've got a terrible mayor in LA. That's another pseudo-commie, because they're not real commies. They live the lives of capitalists themselves. You've got a mayor you got Brandon Johnson, the video. Here, this is perfect timing. You got the mayor of Chicago he's like the communist of communists. This guy is like the Joseph Stalin of Vladimir Lenin's. You got the mayor of Chicago. You can go move there. But nobody's moving there. Yes, bye-bye. Yes, leave. Look at the chat. Go. Goodbye now. See you later. GTFO. I don't know what that stands for. Get the... go. Kyle, just recommend. Seriously, I don't dislike you, man. I don't know you. It's not personal. I'm as serious as a heart attack. I agree. Let's do your national divorce. If you're confident about what you're saying, encourage your supporters, get a GoFundMe going, pay for their U-Haul, and go to New York and California instead of leaving. We are cool with that. Go live with this guy. Here's Brandon Johnson. His city's collapsing. Crime is through the roof despite our best efforts. We've done a lot of the federal government pushed them to clean up crime. He's facing near bankruptcy in the city. And what is he worried about? He wants reparations. And he says that the restaurant business has like a legacy of slavery. If you're a restaurant, you know that? You're involved, man. You too. This is the mayor of Chicago. Check this out.
You just watched an entire city council in transparency try to take wages away from the very people who are part of an industry that has its ties to slavery. Nobody's hiding from that. I am boldly declaring that we need reparations in this city, and that's why I'm funding it.
Go move there, bro. Now, it's so easy to debunk a lot of their nonsense, too. Now, a couple of things he said in there. He doesn't throw any data out there, but I'll actually help you. There are some red states, very red states, some of them in the South, that have a homicide rate that's above the mean. But when you look at where it's coming from, it's the deep blue cities in the red states. You can just look that up, you know. Crime is a local issue. You have local police departments and state police. The state police typically do not get involved when there's a local police department. They'll patrol the highways. They can get involved if some, say, equipment's needed or if there's some special service. Does he not know that? I love the talking point, too, where these red states are moochers. They're taking all these federal tax dollars. So our good friend Matt Palumbo saved this piece, by the way. Matt Palumbo wrote this at Bongino.com a while ago. Liberals resurrect the myth that blue states subsidize red states. You'll hear this from dopey liberals all the time. You red state moochers. So I'll give you the actual data. And notice how the lefties torture this data to make this true when it's not. Matt notes in his piece, against the national average of 32.6% of the state's budget being federally subsidized, the blue states receive about 30.8%, purple states at about 32.9%, and red states about 35.7% of their budgets from federal money. So you may be saying, leave that right. I cut it off there for a reason. Because now you're saying, well, Dan, it looks like Kyle's right. Like a greater percentage of a state budget comes from the federal government in red states. And then you realize that they're just torturing the statistics because red state budgets are typically smaller. So when you do it the right way per person, again, you could just tell people the truth. I'm giving you both sides. Matt notes that red state budgets tend to be smaller. So it makes more sense to look at these intergovernmental grants, in other words, payment from the federal government to the states, on a per capita basis, not a percentage of state budgets. You could just be honest and tell people that. And then he notes, against the national average of $1,900 in intergovernmental spending per American, red states receive just $1,879. Blue states get considerably more at $2,124 per person. Purple states see the least at $1,770. You could just tell people the truth. It's a bullshit talking point. They just make it up. Measures of social happiness. And another thing, by the way, state governments are made of people, but are not all of the people of the state. So when you say red states, there are a lot of Democrats in red states, in Democrat cities. Also, the fact that a lot of retirees live in southern states and leave shitty blue states that are collapsing and go to Florida, South Carolina, purple states like North Carolina, they carry with them this federal government retiring plan that's going bankrupt called what? I'm like, what is it? Oh, Social Security, which skews the numbers too. Also, red states happen to have a lot of military bases where federal government funding goes to red states to fund their military. What do you want to do? Make the military volunteer work in red states? Oh, man. Folks, listen, I promise you to always give you the truth on this show. Yes, as a percentage of state budgets, that is accurate. As a per person measure, which is more accurate because red states have lower state budgets, he's just making that up. Folks, I got more. I'm going to take a quick break on this, but you have a choice coming up in November. I can't emphasize this enough. You have a choice, and it's a serious one. Carville's not messing around. You want the whole judicial and legislative branch to get flushed down the toilet by packing the Supreme Court, packing the Senate with 4 more Senate seats that don't belong? Puerto Rico and D.C. are not states. They're not states. Stop trying to make fetch happen. By the way, if they were Republican, hard Republican areas, they wouldn't even consider it. Folks, criminals exploit weak systems. I know this because I've seen firsthand throughout my career in the law enforcement side. That's exactly why I am really proactive about my own privacy. I use this service. I love it. Delete Me. Don't wait for something bad to happen. Do not leave a bunch of material online, folks. Do not. It is a huge mistake. AI aggregators and others are just going to pull this stuff. Take control. Use Delete Me like I do. Delete Me. Delete Me. It's never been easier to find personal information online, and it's only going to get easier going forward. Your home address, your phone number, even your family's names can be exposed. They can have real-world consequences. Believe me, I've seen it. We've had our own security issues. Bad actors use this data to target public servants, businesses, and everyday people for their opinions. You saw what happened to the healthcare executive up in New York. Guys, if you're in a business that people decide magically they don't like, your stuff is out there. Be very careful. With Delete Me, you can protect your personal or business privacy from doxing before sensitive information is exploited. Take critical action on this now. You have no time to waste on this, okay? Delete Me makes it really easy. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. I'm serious. I can't recommend this enough. Do not keep your stuff out there. These places comb and comb and comb. They'll put together a whole profile on you. You don't need that. I have a special discount now for our listeners. You get 20% off. It's a big savings. Your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Use promo code Bongino at checkout for big savings. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Enter code Bongino at checkout. Do it today. Don't wait. Go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino. Take back your privacy today. Super important. So listen, you have a choice coming up. And you have to go out there and make the case. I know a lot of you say to me in the chat and elsewhere, I still get some of your emails and I read some of your messages on Twitter when I can. People say, you know what, Dan, arguing with my liberal neighbors, it's useless. They're not listening. I can't get through. No, you can get through. You have to get through. We have a country to save. And as I've told you many times, even if you can't break through to your liberal neighbor, there's someone else at that barbecue you're at that's listening. What do you mean? I don't want to talk about politics at a barbecue. I mean, what the hell? I don't want to lose friends. Well, you want to lose your country? I'm sorry. I just don't. And if they leave, they leave. I just don't care. People come up to me and want to, talk shit all the time about politics. I'm like, you want to go? Let's go. I get into it with even good friends of mine all the time about stuff. Happened this past weekend. I'm not afraid of it, and you shouldn't be either. You have a choice. Here is the great Thomas Sowell. You know we love Thomas Sowell. This is about a minute, not a long clip. But here's Thomas Sowell about the 3 questions you should ask every single one of your liberal friends when they propose some other utopian fairy tale like Kyle Kulinski said, free healthcare, free, no one's paying for it? All the doctors, nurses, and janitors in the hospital volunteering? So it's not free. So someone's paying. Oh, who's paying? Oh, you, the taxpayer. So you are paying. So there's no such thing as free anything, correct? Ask these 3 questions of your liberal friends before the election. Stir the pot a little bit and watch them stew because they have no answer for any of this. Check this out.
The liberal premise.
I guess the Rousseau notion, that man is born free but is everywhere in chains, that the real problem with the world is that the institutions are wrong. If the institutions were right, then man, there's nothing in human nature that would cause us to be unhappy. It's the fact that we have the wrong institution.
What is the conservative premise?
That man is flawed from day one, and that there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs, and whatever you do to deal with one of man's flaws, it creates another problem, but that you try to get the best trade-off you can get, and that's all you can hope for. I've often said there are three questions that I think would destroy most of the arguments on the left, and the first is, compared to what? The second is, at what cost? And the third is, what hard evidence do you have? Now, there are very few ideas on the left that can pass all three of those kinds of things.
Can conservative ideas pass those?
Yes, I think so, because they don't assume that there is a solution out there. Adam Smith didn't believe that either the government or the market could solve all problems, that you have to be able to simply tolerate certain things.
Compared to what? So when you hear Mamdani and Brandon Johnson and Karen Bass and other liberal communist mayors out there saying, hey, I'm for taxpayer-funded healthcare. Don't let them call it free healthcare because nothing's free. That's just a moron's perspective. I don't even allow that. I want taxpayer-funded healthcare. Compared to what? Compared to me buying my own healthcare? So you're asking me to buy healthcare through the government so they can then take a cut for themselves, the leaky bucket Arthur Raccoon used to call, because they take a cut for themselves to finance themselves. The insurance company's going to take a cut then too to finance their own business, and then everyone else. So you're adding another cut in there. So you want to trade free market healthcare when you can actually pick and pay your own doctor. You want to trade that to give your money to the government. So you want to swap out your choice with your doctor for the government's choice of your doctor, and then give the government a cut of your money that could be going to your own healthcare. How does that even make sense if you're not a moron? And wait 7 times, you're lucky. Wait 20 times as long on a rationed waiting list like they have in the UK, where upwards of, 5 to 10% of doctors admit knowing someone who died on a waiting list. Compared to what? Folks, you have a choice. Don't believe in stupid. You want to pick your own healthcare or you want the government to pick it for you? Those are your choices, man. As Thomas Sowell brilliantly stated, it's a trade-off. Neither one is perfect. You may have a health insurance company you deal with. It sucks. Gosh, I've had problems with some of them over the years too. You know what I did? I'm not going to say the company. I needed a back surgery. I hurt my back when I was an agent in Turkey, in the country Turkey, not eating turkey. I stepped off a helicopter carrying a fat kid. A fat kid, not a fat kid, fat first aid treatment kit. It was heavy. It had oxygen. I stepped and I had back problems and I ruptured a disc. I made it through the whole trip, unbelievably. And the insurance company at the time we had Paula's insurance under her job, and I think ours was supplemental. The insurance company said, we're not paying for that. They wanted me to do a spinal fusion. I said, no, I ain't doing no spinal fusion. I'm doing a percutaneous discectomy. It's less intrusive. They said, we're not paying. You know what I did? I went with a different insurance company that paid for it. Good luck with the government. When the government says, double-barrel middle finger, we're not paying for your Alzheimer's treatment or we're not paying for your percutaneous discectomy, you're screwed. And next thing you know, they make it illegal to even pay out of pocket. You hear this talk too now about a wealth tax, which sounds good to stupid people. I'm sorry, but I bet this Kyle Kalinski's audience will say the same thing. I can guarantee you they're like, in addition to fake free health care, because it's more expensive over time and you're just going to sit on a waiting list, free college, which isn't free either. You think the professors are donating their time? They're getting paid. You're just paying for someone else's education, period. Nothing's free. Now they go with the wealth tax, which is, I'm telling you, appeals to the lowest common denominator. This is the moron class of people who believe in this. That when you tax even more, because they already pay, I showed you that piece last week. You believe in data? 1% of taxpayers pay between 30 and 40% of the entire income tax load. That's not a fair share. They only earn about 20% of the income. They pay double what they earn. One taxpayer out of 100 pays 40 cents of every dollar of income taxes and only earns 20. When you start to take away even more of the wealth generated for all of us by people who produce businesses that help society, whether they're AI, whether it was freaking penicillin CRISPR gene technology or quantum computing, when you take that away, people stop producing that extra wealth for all of us. This isn't hard. We call it conservatism because we conserve timeless ideas. Here, Geiger Capital, happy tax day. It's good to remember that the top 1% of earners pay 46%, of all federal income taxes. I underestimated. The bottom 50 pay, 3%? Look, there's the actual chart. It's called data. It's a data point. You can see it yourself. Here's timeless wisdom here. And I know I get it. You see these people, boomer, whatever. Listen, man, I'm really sorry I can't help you. I love people who are really like out there and, have that like bohemian kind of attitude and want to try new things. But I'm really sorry. Not everything new is better. There are ideas that are timeless, like liberty and freedom and adherence to the Constitution. Like that matters. That's what we're conserving. We're not conserving shitty ideas like the Democrats who continue to try to conserve communism despite millions of people being slaughtered, impoverished, and starved. Here's the great Margaret Thatcher talking about a wealth tax. Again, about a minute long, but definitely worth your time with an election coming up. You want to see wealthy people flee? Take their money, their ideas, and their businesses with them? Institute a wealth tax, because we've tried it before in liberal states, and it sucked and lost money. Check this out.
Compress the incentives from the top down and say, it doesn't matter how much you earn, I'm going to take the lion's share away from you. Then they say, all right, I'm no longer going to do the lion's part. And then they stop creating the extra wealth, which would both benefit them and benefit society as a whole. Once they stop doing that, they don't benefit, then there aren't any extra taxes to improve the schools or the social services. Now, do you see there is some point in some societies in a degree of redistribution, but once it becomes a depression on incentive to get on by your own effort, then you're denying all people the means of increasing the wealth of our people individually and as a whole.
Sure.
And you just become, as we...
Oh, look, I love that boomer slop. Yeah, good. You don't like it. You want to shit all over people who like fought in World War II and died and suffered for you to have iPhones and iPads and AI, be able to, go and sit there and do a regression analysis of Pete Rose's career on AI in 30 seconds or less, like things that didn't exist when we were kids. You can do that all you want. But if you think everything that's new is good, like a wealth tax, then how about you volunteer? You think taxes are such a great benevolent force and so philanthropic, you're going to make society better? Why don't you go to the Treasury website today, click on the voluntary tax payments thing, and just donate all your money? The government can surely spend it better than you, right? I mean, that's what you think. Folks, the United States is a success because we don't do confiscatory taxation, because we don't take away and reduce the penalty for, and we don't increase a penalty for success. This is going to matter going forward. I am very concerned. The last year of my life was a big eye-opener, okay? I got to see things I was not entitled to see before. And I've told you over and over, you want to drive entrepreneurs out of this country, out of states, elsewhere, you are going to have a real problem. This New York Times piece, the New York Times, but it's actually worth your time, shockingly. This New York Times piece on the future of warfare. You want to all be speaking Mandarin one day as the CCP takes over the United States? Then drive out the technological industrial base of this country, tax the shit out of wealthy people who invent stuff like Ilhan and others, and you're going to see a lot less stuff getting invented. And in this national security nightmare we're living right now with the Chinese Communist Party and others, that's not a country I want to live in. This article is by Maria Varanikova. April 20th. The killer robots are coming. The battlefield will never look the same. Talks about Ukraine and drones. Folks, listen, I have to be circumspect in my conversations with you here, but I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that are largely open source and provide just a little color in it. It's not just drones like you would think in the sky, a typical buzzing overhead drone. There are underwater drones as well. There are land-based, a drone-type robots that, use everything from wheels to humanoid-type robots. Folks, if we can't win this unmanned aerial systems, this unmanned robotics, unmanned underwater systems battle, the United States could find itself under attack with no good solution, and we've never had to say that. Thankfully, we kept par and kept pace and stood up in the nuclear war and the nuclear race, and the nuclear arms race, and we had some of the best scientists in the world. We have scientists leaving. We are effed. It's not just that. I wrote down a couple more examples. Space warfare, not a joke. Folks, okay, it may not be Star Wars. There's no freaking Han Solo, but you don't think the weaponization of space has begun? Just do an AI search anywhere. Tell me about the progress of space warfare. You can get all kinds of open source stuff that I promise you will scare the shit out of you if you really read it. Industrial control systems, cyber warfare. You want to wake up one day, take a sip from your faucet and drink a gallon of chlorine and boom, you're dead. Don't get dead. That's the golden rule. How could that happen? What if they hack into your water system and change the chemical composition of the water? Oh, that's not going to happen. You sure? You willing to take that chance? AI targeting, folks. Facial ID in the future. You want to lose this battle? Because we want to drive our technological advantage into other countries because they don't want to do business in the United States anymore? I don't, because I don't want to die. I don't want to get dead, and you shouldn't want to get dead either, because getting dead is pretty final. You know why? You're freaking dead. Thank God we got people like Elon Musk and others. I saw this video last week. I just want to throw this up there. You know, it's people like this who look at normal things. Like, I saw this video. You may say, what does this have to do with this segment? I saw this video by Elon, and it's just a thing like everyone else has probably seen or dealt with. You know, you've driven at some point through mountains or hills, and your brakes get taxed on the way down. Your gas tank gets drained on the way up as the car struggles to get up the hill, especially if it's heavy. Imagine these truckers, right? This is Elon. Yeah, now, regenerative braking is not new. Like, people have had it on hybrids and the freeways. This is how Elon, and I don't, who cares about the regenerative braking part of this? This is how a guy like Elon, an entrepreneur, thinks. They see everyday stuff and they just go and fix it. And they make bad stuff, batteries draining in electric cars and then brakes draining downstairs, and they make it into good and better stuff, just like they're doing to keep us alive with drone warfare now. This is the mind of an entrepreneur at work. Check this out.
I'd certainly encourage people to look at our semi-truck presentation. Because in fact, one of the things we emphasize with an electric semi-truck is that it's much more energy efficient than a diesel truck. You know, so I mean, you get things like regenerative braking. So, like, let's say you're going over a mountain range. Well, in a diesel truck, you actually don't capture that the energy of height or potential energy. You have to actually spend a lot of money on expensive brakes going down the other side, so you don't run out of control. So whereas an electric semi-truck is able to recapture the energy, the gravitational potential energy, and actually, when it goes down the other side, does not overheat the brakes, and in fact puts the energy back in the pack. So things like that are incredibly helpful for energy efficiency.
Folks, this is the mind of an entrepreneur. I don't really care what your personal feelings are about Elon or any other entrepreneur. I really don't. Bezos or anyone else. Fine. Some of them align with our ideology. Some of them don't. But there's simply no disputing these people create stuff. I read this story about Elon, and forgive me, I don't know how true it is or not. I read it in a pretty mainstream outlet, that the way Starlink, the whole, satellite-based internet system that Elon started was they were launching a bunch of these test satellites with no payloads. And Elon was like, well, why don't we just throw like satellites on them for internet? And that's how like the company started, because that's how these entrepreneurs think. Like, we've got this problem. We're sending rockets into space to test SpaceX, and we're going there empty. Like, can we do something with the space? That's the difference. You want to drive these people out of the country and send them where? Send them to our competitors over in Europe. Who are competitors? Folks, I got to tell you, a lot of these European countries we thought were our friends are not. And you're seeing it now with the Strait. Everything happening in Iran. Dealing with this crew of death to America absolute zeros has been a nightmare. At this point, we have to just take it to the next level. Take it to the next level, hit hard, and get out. Ida Turan had an interesting tweet about this. I saw this on X or X Post, whatever they call them now. I love X, despite a lot of the bots and bullshit, which is a problem everywhere. It's not unique to X. I love X. I love being there because you can get 20 different viewpoints on a problem from very educated people who've thought it through. You can get that on TV, but you got to sit there and watch all day. You can go to X and just put in like Iran and read all day from all these folks. This Ida Turan notes, hey, Trump simply wants to get the uranium out of Iran by any means necessary before they do something stupid with it. It's like dealing with a suicide bomber as his finger on the detonator. Get the bomb away from them first. This is what annoys me most about the people who want to declare the war, the Iranians, the winner of the war. It's like, what freaking side are you on? I don't understand why the loud vocal cheering from the left for a country of theocratic mullahs who've openly declared they want to kill us with nuclear weapons. And then their response is, well, we can't really prove that they were going to go nuclear. They wanted to kill us. You even see it from people on our side eager to declare Iran the winner. Really? This is a 60 Minutes special that just aired. 60 Minutes. Sir, you remember the Sir Network? Sir, certainly no friend to the President of the United States. They interview this expert on the matter like, hey, man, yeah, they've got the capability to go nuclear like really quick. You could just pay attention to the data or ignore it and one day find a freaking mushroom cloud over Chicago. I told you go watch that movie, House of Dynamite. Someone sent me an email this weekend, said they loved it. A little exaggerated, but you think this threat's a joke? Watch that movie on, was it on Netflix or whatever, House of Dynamite. It's a Catherine Bigelow movie. She's a bit of a lefty. But you want to eyes open, how quick this will go down? You want to be living in a scenario like that? I don't think so. Here, check this out.
There's no doubt that the combination of the strikes in June of last year and the ongoing war have seriously set back Iran's capabilities. But the remaining capabilities are substantial. You can't bomb away their knowledge.
UN inspectors believe Iran has close to 1,000 pounds of uranium enriched to 60%, nearly ready to be used in a nuclear weapon.
970 pounds of 60% highly enriched uranium. What can you do with that?
So that is enough material for, if you enrich it just a little bit more, for 10 to 11 nuclear bombs.
Listen, I'm just telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very real threat. Gaff it off at your own expense and your kids' expense. If you think giving the Iranians a nuclear bomb, they're going to act like the Russians and the Chinese did on the old traditional mutually assured destruction limitations on launching a nuke, you're crazy. There is no indication of that anywhere that they plan on abiding by the, quote, rules. I've got one more quick thing on this, and I want to move on to a potential October surprise coming up in the election that I have just heard surfacing in the DC chattering class that could change a lot. And I got to tell you in advance, I'm a little torn on the story. This October surprise could benefit the Republican Party, but I'm just telling you in advance, I'm very torn on it. All right, enough teasing now. I'm going to get to that in a second. It involves a potential retirement that would really set the political world on fire. Folks, Fast Growing Trees. This is a great company. You need some trees, some bushes, some shrubs around the house. Go to Fast Growing Trees. We use them. It is good, high-quality plants. We have them. They have been alive for a really long time at my house. We use them for everything. They are America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers. The Bongino family, me and Paula being one of them. They have all the plants your yard or home needs, including fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and houseplants. We've pretty much brought them all. My house is full. I love the oxygen generation in the house, so we get new ones all the time. Whatever you're looking for, Fast-Growing Trees help you find options that actually work for your climate, space, and lifestyle. I love the plants for the indoors. Again, like to breathe in that oxygen, keep the environment healthy inside. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials. Up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off with their first purchase when you use the code Dan at checkout. That's a big savings. It's an additional 20% off better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com. Use the code Dan at checkout. My plants are still healthy and going. Fastgrowingtrees.com, fastgrowingtrees.com. Use code Dan. Now is the perfect time to plant. You know it. Let's grow together. Use code Dan to save today. Fastgrowingtrees.com. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Get that. Now you want to look at the plants. You want to look at the tree. Go outside, look at nature. Blood pressure drops. Get some sunlight. It's a beautiful thing. Fastgrowingtrees.com. Thank you, Fast Growing Trees. I want to play this clip from Sky News. Because, folks, one of the things that's annoying me most about this ongoing crisis in Iran are the Europeans, who I said before are out there. You know, we have been a stalwart supporter of NATO for a really long time, but I'm really sorry. If NATO is going to be an alliance, then you better step up. And Donald Trump and his team are talking very seriously right now about at least limiting our support for NATO if they don't step up and handle this with this big geopolitical crisis. Handle it and help us out a little bit. They don't want to. Keir Starmer and others want to run in after we all do the dirty work, and they want to claim credit for it and go out and give like the 2 thumbs up. Here's a Sky News back and forth. It's about a minute here, talking about what would happen if we pulled out of NATO. And it's exactly what I told you. Given my last year's body of experience, folks, 80% of the work on the intel front, law enforcement, the terror front, and the military front, 80 maybe more percent of the work is done by us. They contribute, but not nearly as much as we do. You thought I was making it up? I don't know why you would think that. Here, listen to this commentator say exactly that. Check this out.
Just imagine a doomsday scenario. If the United States were to withdraw tomorrow, what would be the first thing that we would lose?
I think the first thing we would notice would be transport, probably. The ability to move equipment and people around. And then the second thing you would notice, and the thing that's most important, would be intelligence. Yeah. I mean, specific battlefield intelligence as to what is going on. Again, there's a bit of it, but you could do it in the old-fashioned way. So you'd be doing it with people on the ground, you'd be doing it with overflight, with drones and so on. But whereas the Americans have got all this stuff on a day-by-day basis from their satellites, if that was lost, then that would be a considerable problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, the U.S. technology advantage, which is a lot, but not all of the intelligence gathering, some is done by human beings, known as human intelligence, are the United States' portfolio of devices gathering this intel. They need us a lot more than we need them. You want to help or not? I saw this tweet by this J.R. Paglia guy. He's like, hey, this is NATO. It perfectly describes the problem we're having now with these European partners who only want to be partners after we win. NATO's the guy who shows up after you're done moving. He doesn't want to do any heavy lifting, but he's always there for the beer and pizza afterwards. Everybody knows that guy. Do you not? Everybody knows a guy like that. Like, stop doing that. We need your help. Help us out. This is obviously going to benefit the alliance if you guys were to contribute in a meaningful way instead of coming in later. So getting to what I was talking about before about a potential surprise for the midterm elections. Folks, I did not see this one coming. I mean, well, obviously in the bigger picture, the potential for a Supreme Court retirement is always there. However, there have been some rumblings in Washington, D.C. about a potential Alito or even Clarence Thomas retirement right before the election that could shake up the election and most certainly would. It would shake up the election because a lot of Christian conservative voters who understand that the right to life and other issues are hanging by a thread based on the composition of the Supreme Court and the federal court system will come out to vote to preserve that. However, I tell you, put up the Hill article. You can read this today if you'd like. I'm really torn on this, and I'll tell you why. We don't know what's going to happen in the Senate. They say Senate Republicans hope the Supreme Court surprise could help save the majority. Alexander Bolton, April 18th of this year. Folks, here's the issue. There is a very friendly map out there right now for Republicans on the Senate side. A lot of these seats that are up for grabs are in red states. They're not going to be easy. You got North Carolina, you have Ohio. They're not going to be a walk in the park. They're going to be tough, but we don't know we're going to lose the Senate yet. So if Alito and, say, Thomas, or both, either or both, were to leave, you lose our two best guys. You lose our two best guys. You hope you can get them pushed through quick under the anticipated, I guess there's a dystopian future where we do lose. And then you appoint younger jurists who you hope are as good as Alito and Thomas, but we've already seen how that can go with Roberts and some others. And then you got to keep your fingers crossed and hope you're going to get good folks. You don't know that's going to happen. Folks, we've been disappointed with Supreme Court appointments over and over again. I'm not really sure we're going to lose the Senate. I mean, we could, but the map is actually pretty good for Republicans. And we could get a couple more years out of the GOAT, Clarence Thomas. And Alito's not far behind. They've been bedrocks for constitutionalism. There is no doubt, though, it would probably drive up turnout. A lot of voters on the sidelines would be very concerned about losing the courts. Business folks as well. We finally have a, pro-capitalism, pro-freedom majority on the Supreme Court, most, not all of the time. You don't really want to lose that. Possibility. But I'm torn on it. I'd love to hear your comments on the chat. I mean, losing Clarence Thomas after that clip I played last week, that speech was just amazing. He is the probably one of the greatest of all time. He is, of all the people, you saw that poll I put up in the beginning of the show about news influencers and something like that. I just see there's like a thing where they factored in politicians too. And then we were 14 in that poll. And Clarence Thomas, my number one. Clarence Thomas and Thomas Sowell, I think, is number two. And then I go back to Milton Friedman, who's not around anymore. But you read his stuff, you can never go wrong. I'm just asking you, too, before the November election, folks, please, zone in on me here. Laser focus. 10, 10, and 10. We're not going to win this election by just talking about it. Talk is great. If it doesn't motivate action, we're going to get our asses kicked. That's just a fact. You have got to go out and grab 10 people who are on the fence about voting and show them how to do it. Show them the website. Show them how to vote early if they need to vote early. Show them if they're overseas how to vote an absentee. You got to show them how to do it. You got to find 10 people, make 10 social media posts, 10 emails, 10 phone calls. It's not an option. I do this as often as I can. I hope we motivated hundreds of thousands of people to vote. I'd like to think the Bongino Army had a small role in a lot of this, but you've got to help me out there, and you've got to be like lieutenants in this and go out and grab more people. There's a network effect to this whole thing. We cannot lose this election. One of the things Carville left off that, they left off that post about Carville talking about these crazy things the left was going to do. One of the things that was left off there is impeachment. We will be dealing with another impeachment. There is zero doubt. Do we want to go through that again? So I'll end today with this one because we've been doing some content on other stuff as well. And I have some other guests coming up, by the way. Some of the guest portfolio we have coming up, not everyone's going to be traditional kind of political commentators or opinion makers, politicians. We have a lot of those. It's a political show. But folks, we're starting to just kind of branch out into other stuff because I'm obsessed with like the health hack space. Because the number one rule of the Dan Bongino show is, of course, don't get dead. So one of the things I've been telling you all is like quick and easy exercise, snack, life habits that you can get into that will change your life. And the one I'm obsessed with is this 100 air squats a day. You can go out and walk 10,000 steps, and that's great too. If you want to do it, go ahead. I personally don't have time for 10,000. 10,000 steps is a lot of steps. Take a good, 45 minutes sometimes. I just don't have the time. So what I do is every 45 minutes, I get up and I bang out like 10 to 15 air squats. Listen, if you have bad knees, whatever, you got to see a doctor. You got to go check that out first. But if you're a relatively healthy person, this is one of the easiest and best life hacks. You want to lean out, you want to lose weight, you want to live longer, you want to not get dead. Even the Washington Post had this story up this morning. Dr. Jordan Metzel, just 2 minutes a day of this type of exercise may help you live longer. What are they talking about? They're talking about pushing your body harder and activating systems that don't get challenged during low-intensity movement like walking. So if you do these 10 air squats, right, that's just what I do. Your heart rate climbs, your muscles recruit more fibers, your mitochondria proliferate, your metabolism shifts. These adaptations drive improvements in cardiovascular fitness, strength, and resilience. 2 minutes! 2 minutes a day. It is the easiest life hack ever. Cut out a couple bags of chips, get rid of the soda for water, and do 100 air squats a day. You change your whole life. You can live longer. It's easy. It's free. You'll look better. You'll feel better. The brain gets going. The body starts pumping more blood around. You get oxygenation in the brain. What did I do before the show? Sitting out here, Lucy was in the studio today. Lucy's running around chasing Lucy, so the heart rate was up. Right before, boom, 10 squats, get going, get the blood flowing. You'll feel so much better. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. It was a busy weekend. What? Oh, he did. Oh, awesome. So Justin thank you. So breaking, FBI Director Kash Patel filed that lawsuit for $250 million over its story on the BS alleged drinking. I'm going to tell you again, just like I told you in the beginning, I was there with him for the first year of the Trump presidency during the entire transition. If any of that was true, I would have heard about it. Good for you, Kash. Now make them back it up under oath. There's probably a damn good reason a lot of people passed on this bullshit story. They only want him out because he's effective. That's why. They leave other people alone. They want him out because they don't want the FBI reform. They want their own kind of imperial guard for a weaponized Democrat system, and we're not having it. Folks, you can check out Haley at noon at rumble.com/Haley. Vince every day. I had a good audience this morning at rumble.com/Vince. I always appreciate you coming here. We will never take the audience for granted. I just ask you one favor. If you wouldn't mind, go to rumble.com/Bongino or download the Rumble app. It's free. Give us a follow. Our video show, just a heads up, because I see again the army of ridiculous Bongino RageBot haters. Our video is not on any other platform. There's only shorts. The full video is only on Rumble. We are exclusive to Rumble. You can listen on Apple and Spotify. If you want to watch the show, you have to watch on Rumble. Rumble.com/Bongino, totally free. Download the Rumble app. Give us a follow. I'd really appreciate it. It means the world to us. It doesn't cost you a dime. I will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
I'm Haley Caradia,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report,
live 8 a.m. Eastern weekday mornings,
weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find podcasts. Thanks for watching.